I have a friend who loves avocados.
I love avocados, they are very yummy.
She always says how much she loves avocados. She'll go out of her way to eat them. She'll always get avocado themed gifts for her birthday, even for her wedding. I thought today I would make a pair of quilled avocado earrings. The way I approached this, I looked at what an avocado looks like on the internet. Then I sketched my design. I broke it into 5 colours. Brown for the inside where the seed is, a light yellow, which is the fleshy part, light green, medium green, the skin, this dark green here. To make the avocado, you start with the seed and you do a nice tight coil, then you shape it into a teardrop. You're wrapping around again and again. So this whole earring is just one strip of each of these 5 colours wrapped around and around. The measurements are really easy for that reason. Then we need a couple of jewellery making tools, a pair of pliers, earrings, hoops. You can make these avocado earrings in about half an hour with all the right tools. So let's get to it. So all of these materials together will give you these avocado earrings. So this is what the final product looks like, and you can see here that the first thing we need to do is quill the seed. To do that, start by feeling for the right and the wrong side of the paper, and you can kind of tell, like this side here is slightly concave, whereas this side is convex, and you can feel it really clearly with your fingers. What you want to do is you want the wrong side, which is the concave side, to face down, and you want to actually condition that so that it gets a bit of curl into it. So then the whole thing will just curl a whole lot easier. So I'm just going to do that a couple of times with my fingers. I am going to grab my quilling tool, and you can see here there's a slot here where you place the paper and it holds on. So I'm going to slide that in, and then I'm going to quill that around to make the avocado seed. And I'm going to put a couple of dabs of glue, because the risk with tight coils, especially because they're going to be used as earrings, is that they'll come apart. So it's important that we keep it nice and strong by adding a few bits of glue throughout.
Avocado over here, avocado over there. Throw them in the trolley because you just don't care. How much the cost you the money at last? Smash one toast and you
I'm going to slide that off, and while the glue is still drying, what I'm going to do is, you can see how it's quite round, but we obviously want this to be an avocado seed, so we need it to be a bit sort of teardrop shape. Where the join is at the top, I'm going to make that the point. So I'm just going to kind of squeeze it so that I get a teardrop. I'm going to squeeze it nice and hard, and that's also pushing the glue into place. So I'll leave that one there to dry. I'm going to do the same thing with the second, because obviously there's 2 ears on most people. So I'm going to do 2 earrings. So while the first seed is drying here, I'm going to get the next one ready.
I love avocados, they are very yummy. Yes, I love avocados, that cost me lots of money. Singing, I love avocados, they are very yummy. Yes, I love avocados, that cost me lots of money.
Cool, so we have our 2 avocado seeds. The next part of our avocado earring is to do the light coloured flesh part of the avocado. So that's the light yellow colour. I'll grab 2 strips so that the second one's ready to go.
Yum yum in my tum tum and smoothly out my bum bum. Avos are the greatest vegetables.
So we don't need the quilling tool anymore because we've done our first seed. The rest is just adding to it. So we don't need this one, so I'm going to put it to the side. So what I'm going to do to start to add the next layer is I'm going to find where the join is. So with the seed, we put the join at the very top. So if you can see, there's the join of the paper. So what we want to do is we want to add the next bit of paper right where that piece of paper stops. So I'm going to put a little dab of glue there so that we can add this one and line it up exactly where that one finishes. So I'll hold it there for a second or 2. And so this grips onto itself. I'm going to add a bit more glue. Oops. And then I'm just going to wind that around, and every so often I'm going to add a bit of glue just for a little bit of strength and support, and so that it doesn't uncoil itself. So just keep going around and around, building up from the seed. A bit more glue. We don't have to worry too much about the shape, just make sure we're pulling it nice and tight as we're going. So wherever the tail ends, we'll just leave it there. And whilst the glue's drying, again, we want to make sure we've still got that teardrop shape. So we're going to pinch again and just make that point a little bit sharper, just to keep the avocado shape. So that's that one done. And so we'll move on to the second one.
Yum yum in my tum
The next colour in our avocado earring is that light green that you see of the flesh. So that's the next strip that we're going to add. So you can see with the light coloured flesh, you can see that that's right here is where the piece of paper ended. So that's where the green piece is going to start. So there's no gaps. So you can see that lines up nicely. So hold that there for a second. Add a bit of glue.
Yeah, yum yum yum.
So now I forgot to condition that piece, so that piece is sticking up a little bit. It's alright. So again, make sure we keep squeezing. Oh! Oh. Keep squeezing. Did that a bit too hard. Squeezed it right out of my hands. Cool, so it's starting to take shape. You can see it against the finished earring. Make sure we condition this one this time. Measurements are pretty similar. Again, on the bottom of the nut is where the join was, so that's where the next piece of paper will begin.
Oh, come on, break it down, break it down. Smooth.
You can see an avocado forming in real time. This time. Make sure we're still squeezing that avocado shape as we go. And then the next colour is this medium green that we're going to add. I'll put it side by side so we can see. So far we've got the seed, the yellow part of the flesh, the green part of the flesh. Next we need this medium colour green. And if you're wondering why these strips of paper look the way they do, particularly the medium green, it's because my cat, Misty, finds it very entertaining to play with quilling paper. And I accidentally left my quilling supplies out one evening and woke up the next day and the green was all over the carpet. And so most of it had to get put in the bin, but these bits that you see here is what I managed to salvage. So that's why it's kind of made me more neat in a way, because I put all my quilling stuff away every time I finish now, because I need to protect it from the cats, because they think they're great toys, they're quilling paper.
Avos are the greatest vegetables around. Though I can't afford to buy a house, cause having avos is kind of grouse, I focus all my energies on living in the here and now. Cause I love avocados, they are very yummy. Yes, I love avocados, that cost me lots of money. Singing I love avocados, they are very yummy. Yes, I love avocados, that cost me lots of money.
So here you can see we've got the fleshy part, so we've done the seed and we've got the fleshy parts of the avocados done. So now what we need to do, you can see here that there's a final layer, which is the skin. But also what you can see is that I've put the jump hoop in between the fleshy part and the skin. So this is where it's going to be a little bit more interesting because we have to thread it through each time. So I'll get the 2 bits of paper that we need. So this is going to be the skin. First things first is we need the jump hoop and we need to position this. So actually what we do need to do is we need to attach the paper. So we can see here the join is just here, so I'm going to glue all the way around here to almost at the top because that's where I'm going to have the jump hoop. So I'm going to put some glue at the join where you can see the join, the bit of paper ended there. So that's where the next bit of paper is going to end, is going to begin, I should say. So I'm going to put some glue all the way around almost to the top. And I'm going to position the dark green, and I've got fluff on my hand. Alrighty, so that glue is starting to take, which is great, so we won't have to hold on to that too tightly. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the jump hoop and I'm going to thread it all the way up here. So that's the first bit that we need to do to get it on, to actually make it as an earring. So I'm going to thread that up, and I'm not going to have any glue touching the jump hoop, but I'm going to sort of position it kind of there. There'll be a bit of a gap. Oops. So that's where I want it. And so that the jump hoop doesn't move around, I'm going to put some glue right next to it. So it's gone all the way up to almost the top on both sides, so the jump hoop won't slide around. So you can see there, I've got the hoop, and I'm going to shape it properly. The glue's still taking, so I've got a little bit of time to work. And then what I'm going to do, I'm getting glue bits everywhere, I'm going to put a little dab of glue along here, and then I'm going to thread the whole strip through the jump hoop and around. Oops, and we can see that's sort of moving around a little bit, so I'm just going to force that to move up a bit. Oops, make sure we're on camera. So you can see the glue squeezing out, and that's okay because it dries clear. So, and I'm going to, oops, got a little bit more. I'll do a full loop without gluing that down. Thread that through. And then I'm going to do another line of glue to hold that steady. Pull it a bit tighter. And I'm going to thread that through. And basically the whole remaining bit, I'll have glue on it so it stays nice and firm. Carefully thread that through, making sure it's nice and secure. Oops. Making sure it's on camera. Cool. So the glue's still taking, so you can still see if I squeeze it, little bits come out. So we've got a little bit of time to work before the glue is set completely. So while it's setting, make sure it's in the right shape. Get all the excess bits of glue off. And because we've been gluing the whole way, the paper is actually really strong. So we've got about 4 loops. So, I mean, it's paper anyway, but it is actually quite strong. And when this glue hardens, this will actually be quite a sturdy avocado half. So that's the first part. And then the last thing we need to do is add in this bit, which I'll get to in a second. But that's one part done. And now I'm going to do the other one. So this one, the join is right up the very top, and so it's kind of too close to the top for it to be useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue the whole first bit around to start with. And I'm going to glue almost all the way to the top. I'm just going to hold that there a second while the glue takes, and I'm going to hold it in place while I get my second jump hoop. Here we go. And I'm going to thread it through the paper. So it's there ready to go. I'm going to hold it right up the top, and then I'm going to put some glue almost at the top again on the other side. Oops. So as I'm placing this down, I'm going to hold that in place. Make sure there's enough space for it. There we go. And I'm going to glue this next bit down. And I have to thread it through the jump hoop. Pull that a little bit tighter. And I'll put another line of glue. Thread it through the jump hoop.
Yum yum in my tum tum and smoothly out my bum bum. Avos are the greatest vegetables around.
I'm going to thread this bit through before I put the last dab of glue, just because that's where it's happened to end. Cool, so as I mentioned before, the glue is still taking. So you can see if I squeeze it, there's still glue coming out because it's still wet. So I've got a little bit of time left to be able to shape it, make sure it's still the shape of an avocado. And there we have our two bottom halves of the avocado. And of course, what we need now is the bit that actually goes in your ear. This bit comes down to just a little bit of patience. So you can see in the jump hoop, there is a join. So you can see how it's not a perfect circle, it joins. And this type of metal you can actually manipulate and open. So if I put a bit of pressure on it, see how I've created a gap? That gap is what we're going to slide this into. So I'm just going to gently, prise that open and slide that in. And then what I'm going to do, just to make sure that it doesn't accidentally come out at any point, I'm going to grab my pliers and I'm just going to squeeze that shut so that the earring doesn't come out of the jump hoop. So I'm just going to tighten that a little bit so that there's a bit of overlap now. So you can see there. So now the earring goes like that. And we'll do the same for the other one. And there we go. All finished. So there you go. I've got these sets of earrings and these ones for my friend who I'm sure she'll appreciate some avocado earrings. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Bye.
Avocados. 'Cause I love avocados, they are very yummy. Yes, I love avocados, that cost me lots of money. Singing, I love avocados, they are very yummy. Yes, I love avocados, that cost me lots of money. Yeah.